Hi everybody and welcome back once again to John's Rockin' Vinyl 77. I have some really cool records to show you guys today that I've picked up the past, I don't know, probably about 2 months. And just some really cool stuff that I either purchased thrift stores or in the wild or online. I even bought a couple things online. I have more stuff coming in, like, as we speak, but I thought I'd go ahead and make a video with what I have today, so then the next stuff will be in my next video, which should be probably a little sooner than I've been posting, so it's really good to, to get back into the swing of, making videos and stuff, while trying to, and, I mean, I've just been, enjoying collecting, again. And this was a gift, and I saw that in one of Ron's most recent videos he picked this up. Hogsy Report, everybody knows him. This is the Raspberries debut album. Very good, wait, you call it power pop? No, kind of has a Beatle-ish kind of sound. The cover is damaged. This was a gift from my dad. He found it for really cheap and asked me if I wanted it, and I said yeah. So, Raspberries. On the back, if you notice, they have like has some of the back colored in. The record itself is actually in like excellent condition, so that's good. And it does have the sticker on it still. Someone pulled it off the front and I guess stuck it on the back with tape. So it is pretty cool. Of course, everybody knows that Eric Carmen was in this band. He wrote a lot of the songs. And this is the one that has Go All The Way on it, which was the really big hit. So it's a really cool thing to have for the collection. And an album I didn't previously have. And one that I have been wanting, because I've actually been getting into the Raspberries recently, so on, this is actually the second pressing on the red Capitol label. The original pressing would have been on a lime green, I believe. So this is a pretty cool find. Then we have, this is one I was actually talking to Randy about in his live stream that I found this. This is Paul Butterfield Blues Band, and this album's called The Resurrection of Pig Boy Crabshaw. And this is still with Paul Butterfield. He is still on this. This is one that has him on it. This might have been the last one, not sure, but I found a real nice first press stereo copy of this, which is pretty tough to find. Look at the cover. Like, when I see these, they usually have lots of ring wear. Everybody knows the Electra sleeves. How they work. They rub off the the paint on the everything. So this is a cool find. I'll show you guys the label. It does have the original insert, or inner sleeve. Let's see, original inner sleeve. There's the labels. And the reason I grabbed this because it was $1. So, this is the kind of stuff you just don't see. I mean, in this condition, I'm sure it's easily a $25 or $30 album. It's like the vinyl is so mint. There's like there might be one or two little scuffs. I mean, like it just looks flawless, the condition of the record itself. So definitely a really awesome find, and glad to have that in the collection. And they're just like a, you know, like a British blues rock band. Good stuff though. They do. A lot of people say that they're, I don't know what the first album's called, but that's the one that everybody wants. This one's good. This is pretty good. I think this has to be their second or third album or something like that. So pretty good. And then the way I like to do my videos is I kind of like, you know, progress throughout. It's all really good stuff, everything that I'm showing today, but you know, it usually like progresses in value the further I get along in the video. So here's a band called If. They're a American band, which is kind of unusual because they kind of had that jazz rock kind of vibe going on. This is their second album. So pretty cool stuff. It's on Capitol. It's on the Capitol lime green label. The cool thing about this one is still in the shrink wrap. That's pretty cool. And I got this for a bargain, you know, like $1 or $2. Lime green Capitol. And again, this is just like in excellent condition. I got this at a different place. I got this at a antique store. Believe it or not. I mean, it depends on the antique store, but sometimes they'll price stuff under. A lot of times they'll like gouge the price to where it's like insane, but sometimes you'll get lucky and find something for a couple of bucks. And it's a good deal, you know, you never know. And the same seller had some really common like country from the 70s and stuff, and they had those priced for like $15 and $20 each. But they only had this one rock album really. So I'm lucky that I found that and grabbed it. And from what I've been told, this is the rarer of the albums to find, because they made several albums. The first one's pretty hard to find. The second one's hard to find apparently. So very happy to have that in the collection. So then up next, this is an online purchase, and I got it for a good deal, so I'm not real upset about it. But they did undersell the condition. Well, they played up the condition really. This is Quartermass. This is a UK kind of heavy progressive band, really heavy keyboard. If you like kind of heavy keyboard and early progressive rock, because this came out in 1970, I believe. A few of the guys in this band would go on with John Ducan from Atomic Rooster, and they would form hard stuff in the early 70s. The gatefold. This is a U.S. pressing, of course, because the UK pressings are pretty expensive. It's not too bad. There's some water damage on the front of the cover, which isn't a big thing, because I already knew about that. But they commented that the record was in excellent to near mint condition, and the record is more VG, bordering VG plus. I'd say VG because it's kind of, there's a lot of like weird like things in the groove that you just can't get out, but it seems to play okay. Other than on side 2, it does have a few deep scratches on Make Up Your Mind, which is a great song. Unfortunately, it's on Make Up Your Mind, but I'm still happy to have this in the collection and to get it under $20. So if I ever come across a better vinyl copy, I'll swap them out, you know. Let's see if I can put this back in here very carefully. Up next I have an early pressing of Electric Mud. by Muddy Waters. This is an album I've been looking for, of course. A lot of people are. Has a gatefold. Oh, fucking. Yeah. There's the back of the cover. Has all the songs timed in seconds. And this is a. I was trying to decipher whether this was a first press or a second press or what. And from what a lot of people were saying online, is that they released the white and the black cover simultaneously, so at around the same time. So it does come in the original cadet sleeve. I'll show you guys the record. And this is a pretty good copy. It's VG Plus or excellent condition, I'd say. Side 2 is even more excellent, really. It's definitely, I would give it a real solid VG Plus. Real clean copy. It plays well. And it does have the inner sleeve, I mean not the inner sleeve, but the insert. These are kind of hard to find. Usually when you see them, they don't have this. Usually when I see them, the record's like in horrible condition. And again, this is something I got under 20 bucks. I bought this at the record show. I took a chance on it because I wanted it. Something I was looking for. And it ended up really kind of paying off, I guess, in a way. Because it's a good record. Well, I knew it was a good record, you know, because of the, you know. So really cool find. Then up next, I also was talking to Randy in the comments about this, and this is Blackfoot Sue. Nothing to Hide. This is a UK, you would call it glam rock, hard rock. It's not what the cover would suggest. It kind of, when I saw the cover, I was kind of thinking Blackfoot Sue, the band name. I was like, what is it, country rock or something, you know? Southern rock. But that's not what it is at all. It's a UK group. This is a UK pressing. Nothing to Hide. There's a gatefold, opens up like that. Here's the band. And it's on very heavy, thick vinyl. It's on Jam Records. This is, again, just excellent condition. And I got this under 20 bucks. I got this for a really good price. And they usually, when I see them sell, they usually sell for in the $50, $60 range. So, got a pretty good deal on it. It's got some great songs on it, too. I highly recommend, like, the first track, Messiah. And the first song on side 2, The Spring of 1969, which is real heavy hard rock. And then Glittery Obituary, which is kind of a comment on the kind of glam rock scene of the time period. So really, really cool album. I highly recommend you guys check this out and maybe get a copy of this, because this is good stuff. If you're into the Sweet, Moth the Hoople, some Moth the Hoople, T-Rex, and this is on the harder side of it kind of has a little progressive elements here and there. It's on the harder side of glam rock, British glam rock, so it's good stuff. I highly recommend you guys check it out. And up next, this is something I've been looking for a while. Cactus, one way or another. I had a copy of this, but I've been looking for a copy that has a certain item in it. First, I'll show you guys everything that's here. Here's the gatefold. Opens up just like that. Back of the cover. And then the record itself, of course. just been looking for a real good copy that has a certain item, and I just so happened to be, you know, looking around online and saw an auction, and I ended up getting it for under $10. Here it is. Giant fold-out poster. I don't think I can get that all on the camera, but it's awesome. I've always wanted one of these. And now I have one, so there we go. That's how that works. So there's the poster. In just really nice condition. There's no real bad creases, there's no stains, there's no rips or tears or any kind of signs of where it's been hung on the wall or anything. So a really cool find to me to have, you know, the whole, you know, package. When I buy an album, I always want the whole package. If it came with a poster, I want the poster if possible. So that's a really cool find to me, and to get it for a really good bargain. And it also came with the original Cactus album, which is cool. I don't have it with me right now, but I already had one, so I ended up trading it. So really cool find for just a little bit under for under $10, and to get the first one included with it. So cool stuff. And up next, this is something that I also bought in an auction. And this is Thunder and Roses, King of the Black Sunrise, and this is just really powerful Cream-inspired blues rock. Kind of has a Cream Hendrix vibe going on throughout. Power trio. It's not in the greatest condition, especially the cover. Cover has some issues, but I got this in a lot of records for like $15, and it had some other cool stuff in it too. This is the best thing though. This is, I mean, typically a $60, $70 album. I mean, even in this condition, really. So, really cool find. Show you guys the better idea of what the cover looks like. King of the Black Sunrise. And then I'll show you guys the vinyl itself. Of course, on that wonderful United Artists label, I just love a lot of stuff that came out of that period on this label. A lot of good stuff. So very, very excited to have that in my collection too. Especially to find a pretty decent copy and not spend an arm and a leg to get it, you know what I mean? So pretty happy about that. And I might end up upgrading it eventually, and if I do, you know, I'll trade it or whatever. But it's cool to have it for now, and to, you know, and to be able to listen to it on vinyl, you know. So there you go. And then up next, this is an album I've actually had in the collection before. I just grabbed another copy because I saw it and it was cheap. This is Ursa Major, featuring Dick Wagner from The Frost, and he would later on go into the Alice Cooper Band. This is a great rock and roll album on RCA Dynaflex. Unfortunately, this is in one of those it's hard to get in sleeves, you know. Really nice copy. It just has that kind of corner cut out right there. Pretty much all the copies I've ever seen has that. The copy that I had some seam wear, so this one's a little bit nicer to me. I'll probably end up keeping this one and selling the other one on the RCA Dynaflex label, of course, 1972. This is the killer, you know, that heavy 70s stuff, you know? Really good stuff. Highly recommend anybody that's a fan of The Frost, anybody that's a fan of Detroit music, to check this album out. Very good stuff. I highly, highly, highly recommend this. Great rock and roll album. And just RCA put out, you know, several killer groups on their label in the early 70s on the Dynaflex label. And this is just one of those, you know, ones that fell under the radar, which is just awesome. Great. Anyway, I'm back. Here's Stained Glass, the band Stained Glass, Crazy Horse Road. And I've been looking for a really nice copy of this for a while. And this was actually a find that I found locally. And it was just, you know, in like the cheap, you know, bin at actually a antique mall. And I had to get it, you know. It was under $10, which is crazy because it's like in this condition, it's like a $60, $70 album. So I'll show you guys what we got going on. Take a good look at that. Still in the shrink. Has the free. I don't know if you can see that on the camera. Probably not. Probably see it better on the back. A little bit better. You can see that indentation in the cover. And it's still in the shrink wrap, which is crazy cool because this album usually is warped with, you know, all kinds of ring wear and damage, but this one's like, you know, perfect. Just an awesome copy of this. And the vinyl is, you know, almost as good as... Here's another way to see that free indentation. It's on the inner sleeve. You can see that. And it's just a super awesome copy on that, you know, the color band capital label. And I'd say VG Plus to excellent condition. Maybe even a little bit better on side 2. Side 1, it's about VG Plus, low excellent. And side 2, it's almost near mint minus. So, really good copy. Really clean stuff. And it's a really good kind of... it kind of gets a little rural rocky in places, but mostly it's pretty psychedelic. It's got a lot of pop, like Beatle influence, I'd say, and there's even a couple of tracks that are kind of heavy fuzz tracks, which are my favorite, of course, because I like the heavy fuzz stuff. But overall, I got a really good deal on this, and I'm very happy about finding this album finally. I've been wanting it. This cover's pretty cool. I like the, you know, because they're like hung, so kind of a cool cover. Cool gimmick, you know, on the cover. They had another album that's more poppy, Psych, or whatever you call it, called Aurora. Everybody likes that one. I tend to prefer this one. It has a little more of the hard-edged songs on it, so I like this one a little better. And then up next, I have another online purchase, which is a progressive record that I've been looking for by a group that I enjoy, and particularly this album I've been looking for. Here's Egg, the Polite Force, the Canterbury prog rock band, Egg, which is just fantastic, you know, UK progressive rock. I would say if you're a fan of early Pink Floyd, fan of Eloy, fan of, you know, stuff like that, this would be really in your vein. It kind of gets into krautrock territory where it's, you know, kind of like, you know, the jamming and stuff, which is really cool. I love it. I love this record. And it's kind of on the heavier side of progressive music, especially the first track. Here's the copy right here. And I got this under $50, which is a pretty good deal on this. Has the promo sticker. Pretty clean copy. Just a great record that I enjoy. And this is a US pressing, because the UK's are pretty tough to find. On the DRAM label. Just great progressive rock album. And it's, again, a really clean copy, excellent to near mint, I'd say. very happy to find that for a good deal. And then now, these last couple I have here are records that I actually found at the record show. And there's kind of a story behind them, and I think I'm going to try to kind of give you the gist of what happened. There was a collector seller beside me that was new to the show, and they brought some stuff in like a, like the collectible stuff. They had some collectible stuff in a box, and then most of the stuff they had was kind of your typical, stuff. But he had a couple of rare things that I've been looking for, and he just so happened to cut me a deal on a couple of things that he didn't want to take home with him, so he could have some extra money because he wasn't from the area, and he had a long drive ahead of him. So I offered him some money to take these, and I ended up getting a really, really awesome deal on all these. And this is the first of the couple of them that I got. This is Damnation of Adam Blessing, Second Damnation. This is the first press. It's the first press album. Gatefold cover. And if you notice, there's like no ringwear on this thing at all. It's like beautiful. Let me show you guys. Show you guys a good look at this thing, because this is something you just don't see. And when I saw, this is the thing that made me want to, that jumped at the opportunity. I was like, I think I want to strike up a deal with you, man. And he was more than happy to give me a deal on these. It's just a great, clean copy of this. Almost no ringwear to be found on this thing. Just a wonderful copy of this. Has the gatefold, of course. If I can get it open. I don't want to bend it too much because it's, like in brand new condition. So I'll show you guys the record itself. This is just a crazy good hard rock calling it psychedelic rock isn't. It's really not psychedelic, but it's more just straight up hard rock from the early 70s, late 60s, early 70s. And then here's the label. Again on that United Artists label. And I actually prefer this one over the first album. The first one's not quite as hard and heavy, This is, again in that hard and heavy 70s stuff like, Corey's channel. So great hard-edged record. And I'm very glad to have this. Pick this up for a good deal. And then up next, I have another one of those kind of weird bands, and I actually did a little bit of research about this band. I didn't do a whole lot. This is a band that was from Greece. And this is a group called Socrates. Actually, the band's called Socrates Drink the Chronium or something. This is their second album, I believe. On the Wings. This is the U.S. pressing. Of course, the European issue is probably, astronomical prices. I believe this is their second album. It might be. I almost want to say maybe it's like a reissue of their first album, but it is from 1973, so it's an early, pressing, and it's the only U.S. pressing. This, an original pressing. And it does have a little BB hole right there, but that's not a big deal to me. And it has a little bit of cover, like a sticker, residue on it. But other than that, it's a real cool. And they're kind of like a heavy progressive band. They're kind of like progressive rock, but a little bit heavy, And a lot of people list this as like proto metal and stuff like that, and it is really heavy. So again, a lot of these are in that same vein, that kind of proto heavy metal stuff. on the Pilps label, I believe is how you say it. Socrates on the wing. Very happy to have this and add this to the collection for a really good price. Again, this is just stuff you don't see very often, so when you see it, you gotta jump on the chance to, you know, pick it up, man. If it's a good deal, I always grab it. So. And then we're coming up to the last couple of records I have here. This is another album that I got in that same collection that I was just talking about that I bought from the record show. And this is probably the one that's the rarest and most desirable. And I mean, of course I would consider a lot, like almost all the stuff that I'm showing today, grails, you know, in that sense. But this is, you know, like a true grail. So this is something that, you know, that's worth hundreds of dollars. So Grand Max, Kiss Heaven Goodbye. This is an original from 1978 pressing. Original on Panama Records. This is just a crazy good, almost new wave of British heavy metal sounding band, but they were actually from Kansas City, Missouri, if you believe that. So a band from Kansas City, from Missouri, that just kills, man. This is just song after song. Of course, Mistress of Eternity, the first track, just oozing with that heavy, you know, driving guitar riff and that bass. And it has that really traditional heavy metal sound going on, and very early for this period. And that's why it's so desirable by collectors. It's just a hard album to find. And it's just in excellent condition. The cover's really nice and clean and crisp. Really, really strong copy of this. I'm glad to add this to my, you know, heavy 70s collection and all that. See if I can get the record out and show you guys the label real quick. Really clean. Really, really, really clean. It might have never been played. I would doubt if it's ever been played. And it's on that real heavy, thick vinyl too. And it sounds really good. Really good mix on this album. I mean, the thing is that you probably are thinking, how could the last thing be any better than this? Because it's, you know, so rare and hard to find. But the next album's even rarer, and the story is even weirder, because I actually found this locally at a thrift store, believe it or not. This is crazy find. So anyway, this is the last and final thing. This is a super grail, mega grail, whatever you call it. You know, it's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars. $600 to $600. I mean, there are copies on Discogs right now that are over $1,000 and stuff. This is a group called Albatross. This is their album "Rock in the Sky" on Dominion Records, which is you know, like a private label. And this is just a killer. I mean, you would call it 70s hard rock. I would call it that. It's 70s hard rock with a bit of a southern rock flair, which doesn't necessarily ruin it, but I mean, it actually has a couple of real hard rockers. The one that I really dig the most is the second track on side 1, called "After the Fire," and I'll actually play a little bit of, like a snippet of that particular track, which is really, really hot. It's got it's just like, I mean, really dynamic song. They kind of have like that traditional, you know, a little bit of that, you know, that typical, or like arena rock sound, Boston, you know, there's a little bit of some progressive elements going on. It's mostly just straight up rock, southern rock, except for that After the Fire, which is like, it was like hard rock. And it's got a killer groove. I'll let you guys check that out in a second. But I'm just gonna, you know, you guys a real good look at everything, because this is something you just don't see every day, and to find this locally at a thrift store for like next to nothing is just insane, you know. Like I said, on Dominion Records. So this is really cool. This is an album I'm just happy to have this in the collection. So, you know, one of those things that I thought I'd never own. So anyway, I hope you guys really dug what I showed today, and hope you and enjoyed my video today. I know it kind of ran kind of long. I was babbling on about every little detail about things, but I hope you guys really dug what I showed today, and I'll see you guys real soon. I have a couple of things coming in right now that I know of, that I'm excited to show you guys. A couple of online purchases, you know. I don't think I have any other recent purchases. These are all everything's up to date there, other than my online purchases which are coming in. So I will see you guys later. Hope you guys really dug what I showed, like I said, and talk to you guys real soon. I hope to hear from you guys in the comments and see what you guys think of what I found. So talk to you guys later. Bye.